Hello guys and girls, I have a new little furry pet, a new little, I guess I should say not furry, but feathery pet. This is my little buddy. This is a wise little owl, so I named him Wisdom. This is Wisdom right here. Wisdom, how are you doing? Say hi to the people. Don't just shake your head, say something. What do you think I am, a parrot? This is a wise little owl. My daughter Sherri, how about a little sugar? How about a little sugar? Come on, Wisdom, how about a little sugar? Come on, Wisdom. How about a little sugar? Oh, Wisdom, Wisdom, Wisdom. That's not sugar. That's not sugar. Come on, a little sugar. He almost flew away. I've got my glove on here, you know, so in case he decides to peck me or something, he won't peck me. Anyway, isn't he cute? Isn't he cute? My daughter Sherri and her husband Jack just got back from Ireland. That's right, Ireland. Can you believe it? Ireland. They had a great time over there. Jack had to go over there and speak at a medical convention. And of course, Sherri's button is always on go, so he took her with him, and they just absolutely had a blast. They had a great time in Ireland. They did a lot of nice stuff over there. And it's an amazing place, they said, an amazing trip. And so happy for them. They had a great time. But one of the highlights of their trip, maybe the highlight of the trip, because they've talked about it more than anything else, was they stayed at an estate. They stayed in an estate that was an old Irish estate, a big grounds and a big like castle type place that they stayed in. But they had falconry, and they got involved in the falconry, and it was just like, it's fascinating. Beautiful, beautiful, incredible birds. An incredible looking owl. I said, I wish you'd bring that little guy back with you. And they did. And they did. And they did. But we thought we would share a little bit of that falconry with you, because it is amazing the way that they train those birds, and it is amazing how smart they are and the things that they do. So let's get right into it and see a little bit of falconry in Ireland with my daughter Jack, my son-in-law Jack, and my daughter Sherri. Oh, come on, how about a little sugar? How about a little goodbye kiss, huh? How about a little goodbye kiss? Come on. Come on. Okay. Wisdom, Wisdom, I'm gonna name you Dummy if you do that again, okay? Okay, how about a little kiss? Come on, come on, come on. Don't you bite me? Ah, he's so sweet.
So what we'll do, we'll set you guys up over here. I've got a perch set up down there. So the falconer is going to stand here like so, all right, just down here, and then the photographer is going to be about here. So you should get that abbey, the bird, and the falconer all in the one thing. If you face me more, man, and then your glove is going to be just like that. That's going to be perfect, okay? Stamping on the glove, demanding them. I always tell people he's the Kim Kardashian of my birds. Oh. He's very demanding.
Oh, he's so pretty.
Where'd he go? Okay, here we go. Oh. He got spooked about something. I'm gonna call him back. Ashi! Come on! Yeah, well, it's over here. I can't go under there. And you just keep your... I can hear a helicopter in the background. So maybe that was it. So any little thing. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Again, there's something out of the ordinary. It's like, oh my God, what's that? Hide. Yeah? Bring him into your side a little bit. Have a little feel of the back of his head. Yeah? Super soft, okay? Oh, and again, because you moved, he went, what's that? Because he can hear a mouse's footsteps under 3 feet of snow while flying. So, actually, come on then. Yes, you have to come out here. He's like a monkey. So I'll try that again. Everybody stand still. Okay, here we go. That's more like it, Oisin. Well done. You did well. But he's 5 years old. Haven't since he's a chick. He, again, thinks I'm his parent. He doesn't like touching the wings. He'll let you touch the back of his head. But again, his wings would be a delicate thing. He'd have to make sure they were, you know, not in any way in danger. So that's, again, unlike my dogs who want to get inside your shirt. They want to get that close to you. They're like, can we get any closer?
Right.
You know, especially Lulu. She's very attacked. They call them the Velcro dog because they're always stuck to you.
That's my dog.
All right. You know the struggle.
Yes.
Very good. We'll try that once again. Up he goes. Good boy. Yeah. I'm going to give him the food. And you hear the noise he's making. So there's a poltergeist in Ireland called the Banshee. And it actually comes from the barn owl because they make no sound when they fly. So you'd see these ghost-like white things flying in a forest or around the graveyard and hear the screaming. And they do this really high-pitched, really loud. And so people would say wailing like a banshee. It actually sounds like someone strangling cats or something. It's really loud. So, switch places. Take a branch. Here we go. Good boy. Yay. That was perfect. So, he could see the branch, come in, land, and you can have a little feed. Very soft. Very soft. So he's kind of like a marshmallow in that he pushes the air out of the way. Now, everyone thinks about aerodynamics as in it has to be sleek and, you know, like a falcon, which is true. But to be less wind resistant like him, in order to make zero turbulence, you're even more aerodynamic because you're not allowing the wind to affect you at all. You're creating no noise. And whereas a falcon going through the air will rip through the air, he's able to push it out of the way. So they're trying to figure out how an owl flies silently in order to save fuel in aircraft. So there might be different shapes in the future. We'll try that again. And his face is facing where I need him to go. He'll go wherever his face is facing. So he's not that smart. But he doesn't need to be, but he's very demanding. And he's like Jekyll and Hyde. Once he gets his food now, he's like, who are you? You're dead to me. You know? Speak to my agent. Yeah, he's very demanding. But 5 years old, a barn owl will live to about 5 in the wild. Again, with you, maybe 15. Because he'll never fail to feed. If anything goes wrong, you have the whole of medical science behind you, and he's got this big monkey thing that just does everything for him. So, again, you would live long too. So we'll try one more flight with him, and that's all he's going to do today. That'll be good today. Thank you. Here we go, guys. Whoa, good. So I'm going to offer him some food, which he's going to take. And then I can try and take off the radio transmitter. Now, in his mind, he's just stolen that food off me, and I'm trying to steal it back. Because in the wild, nobody gives you anything. You steal it, or someone else will take it. He'll try it with you. So he's going, there are people here in this garden with that landmark there. So this place is good. I can associate this place with food. That's what we're doing here with this. So I'm going to give him this today, and then tomorrow I hope he'll be down about maybe a ½ ounce, and then I'll fly him tomorrow. Good boy, Ragnar. Yes, you're very clever. Very good. Lovely dark head. Really nice. So I've had white falcons, and I've had falcons twice the size of him. The falcon or the hawk, so that you could catch your food, and then you'd have to trade it. And you'll think, well, why would he trade you? If he caught a rabbit, he's not going to trade you for a small piece of chicken. But in fact, he will prefer to take the ready food rather than sit in a dangerous position on the ground where coyotes can get him, other birds of prey can get him, who knows what can get him. So you go in. If it was a duck, you dispatch the duck. I would just pull the head and neck off it, put it on top of the body, and he'll then step up onto your glove with the food that's ready, and then you get the duck for yourself. And that's how people would hunt him. And same with rabbits. I put ferrets into rabbit holes. They scare the rabbits out, and he chases and catches the rabbits. He won't eat the ferret because he needs the ferret to get the rabbit. And they're so clever. Harris Hawks in general is extremely clever. must be a lovely long drive. So as far as he's concerned now, you're just an extension of me. There was one of me and it was easy then. Now it's 3 times easier because there's 3 of me. So in his mind, because they're naturally social, they're naturally intelligent enough to be social, he knows that this is better, and that's why he stays. Yeah. So the last time he went all the way down there, he got a couple of nice pieces of food. So this is a bit of fallow deer. I don't know, do you have fallow deer where you come from? It's probably just whitetails and those kind of things. Elk.
Fallows are in some of the exotic hunting places.
They're from India, and they're not supposed to be here or where you're from, but they got brought here. And we have Japanese sika, Chinese water deer, muntjacs. I don't even know where they're from, and we have fallows. We really only have one native species, which is the red. That's like your elk. So I hunt all deer species. And myself and birds, my dogs and birds. That's what we live off. So it's a good deal. It's a pest control job, so we get rid of like invasives, and we get to enjoy the food. So that's great.
Yeah, we hunt whitetail.
Oh, whitetails are gorgeous animal. Really? And
we raise them too.
Do you? No way.
We hunt them.
Really? That's class. And don't you have mule deer then? They're big as well.
Yeah, the different part of the country, not
yeah.
where we are.
Okay, and do you guys get elk?
Yes.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
My parents have elk on their property. They brought them in there.
Oh, cool. Yeah, because I know some people here that they will farm red deer as well. The reds, which are like the elk. And they're great meat. Really good meat. Yep. He nearly has it eaten before he left. We'll carry on. You always have a few people come in and see what's going on. Probably see from the room that there's birds been flown or something, and they come in. But it doesn't bother him because he's so social, because he's intelligent. He's not worried about any of that. I could walk him through Galway City, but he would kill pigeons because they're not very smart, and he is very smart. So he would have a pigeon in each foot.
He'd be busy.
Oh, he'd be busy. He'd love it down there. He'd love it. We'll give him a bigger piece because that was good flight. So when he flies further away from me, I give him bigger pieces because I want him to fly as far as possible. Whereas, say, an inexperienced falconer might be afraid of losing the bird, and they'll be holding the jesses every time it comes back and kind of trying to control the bird. But you're better off to not control it. You're better off just to have him as almost as like a wild bird as possible. The closer he feels to wild, the more natural he's going to act. And he's going to feel better for it, and your relationship with him is going to improve as well. So as far as he's concerned, he got what he wanted. And he's going over there to make you reload the glove. So who's training who? So just keep it like that, and he'll land like a feather. Yeah. So you see how he flares his tail? So it acts like a brake, like a rudder. He can fly through a forest at 80-90 kilometers an hour. Wagged his tail there, and the tail is slender, and he just showed you his back. So all that tells me he's very trusting in how calm and relaxed you are. So he feels he can be calm and relaxed. Whereas if you were nervous, he'd be nervous. He'd be like, why are we nervous? But he's 9 years old. I haven't, for 9 years, and I've never let him down yet. So in his mind, that's why he stays. Like, he knows how to catch all his own food. He knows how to do everything himself, and he's a wild animal. But he's learned that he can use me to his advantage, and that's why he's doing that. So I'll just keep zooming back and forward. So he's like, well, it keeps working, so I'll just keep doing it. Yeah. And then when he's fed up, he won't fly at all. He'll just sit, and he'll sit for about 12 to 18 hours until the switch comes back on in his head that tells him it's time to go. Right? Now he's trying to short one, and I'm not going to feed that, so I only feed the response I want. I don't feed the actions I don't want. And that works for dogs, birds, kids, everything. So we keep going this way. going to see a few people in the picture. Always take the opportunity because he's a wild predator, and I use him to clear seagulls off the roofs of pharmaceutical factories or industrial estates. They get me in, or grain stores or anywhere like that, airports. If you have pest birds and you fly him, all the pest birds go, oh God, there's a hawk living here. We better not be here. And so that's all you need to do. He doesn't actually catch them. I've dropped a piece.
Oh.
And they say eyes like a hawk. He's got 3 times more definition in his eyes than we do. He sees in the ultraviolet, so your hair, his feathers, that meat, all show up blue, purple and green. It's a totally different world than we see. And the highest I've ever had a bird above me is 4,500 feet, and he can see me throw a piece of chicken that size in the grass. So his vision is unbelievable, but they have no sense of taste or smell because he doesn't need that. Hearing would be average, wouldn't be as good as the owls, obviously, but yeah. But you see how he's never stops. He's always on the look. Where can I go next? What can I see next? Let's see if he'll catch something. He's basically trying to figure out what action he can take to get the response out of you that he wants. That's why your dog will act like a puppy all his life, because he can manipulate you easier. Yeah, at least that's what mine do. They're experts. So they're going to solve. Yeah. So I'm going to put a tiny little piece there, but he's seen that. Enough piece stuck in his face. But he's very delicate, very gentle. Harris hawks again only live to about 8, and he's already 9. And the oldest Harris hawk I know in captivity is 38.
38?
Wow. Again, like the Queen of England, it's been pampered its whole life, so why wouldn't it live a long time? Whereas in the wild, it's a day-to-day struggle just to live. Especially if you come from a desert area where he'd come from, and the nest in cactuses. And in the day, if he caught a rabbit, a coyote will run in and try and catch it off him. So they have a natural fear of dogs, even though he'll work with my dogs because he knows them. I gave my brother a pup out of my chili, and when he comes over to stay, they all give out to him, even though he looks identical to his mum. And they're like, that's not our one. We know that's not ours. Yeah, and I have 2 Vizslas, and they all look the same. And they know when it's not one. They know. Yeah, it's amazing. So, and he'll hide at the top of a tree. He sees anything from a chihuahua to a donkey, he thinks it's the coyote. So he'll hide. Oh, he's done a lovely look. So, whatever food he sees, he must get. It's all about transparency in the relationship, that if he sees food, he doesn't want to see that you're, withholding on him. And that's why you can fly a bird for 10 years and it knows how to do its own stuff, it knows how to be a bird, it knows how to catch its own food, but he will choose to stay. And that's the key to it. So unlike a zoo animal, where you're keeping them in, with falconry, you're letting them out. So we'll carry on, and when we do, you can switch off your dog. I'm going to see if you'll catch something for me.
Whoa!
No problem. So we'll carry on this way, guys. So I do try and challenge you if I can, because this is very easy to bring. So if you point your camera that way, man.
Whoa! I lost you.
You go right over your camera. Okay? The small guy.
Yeah.
She just chug him down like that. What's she doing here? How have you done this? I don't know how you do this. There we go, I got it.
I really didn't know they ate like that.
Oh gosh, it's like a snake or a crocodile. She just wolf it down like that. Now what she really wants is me to open the door here so she can take it into her lair. And she's chugging it down. So that's just some feathers that I skinned the quail, basically. So in her mind, that's a huge amount of food. But it's probably got the I suppose the calorie count of a rice cake. Because again, if I gave her a full quail, she probably wouldn't fly again for a week because of her slow metabolic rate, like a crocodile. So you kind of have to understand the parameters of each species, and then each bird in that species will have its own character to go with that. Not very smart, and I've got a big piece of quail feathers, which she will think is absolutely like a huge quail. And we're going to land there. Big feet. very powerful. So twice the size of the last guy.
And they're feathery.
Feathery, so that they don't make noise when she flies. So it's all right, John. There you go. So you can feel her squeeze your hand, even though that's a really tough glove. That's the glove I use for the eagles. But she's an eagle owl. An eagle just means big or powerful. So she's a very powerful bird. But again, you can see she's like a great horned owl. She'll sit in a tree, wait for a skunk or a rabbit or a Bichon Frise to walk underneath the tree and eat it. So we'll try another one. That's probably, you're probably too light. So if you want to switch places again. And this one, she sat in a tree for 5 hours last week.
Oh,
Because she got scared by some machinery over there. So I did like the sound. Here we go. Come on. There we go. So just show her something big and fluffy that you can see. So if she wants to take it with the feet, I can't let her do that because they're spiky. Come on up here.
it's like you're cheating me.
Yeah, she's cheating me. Trying to steal the food. Come on up here. So it's much easier to get her to come to you for the food. If you try to go towards her, she'll try and just kind of run off with it. She's trying to steal it. Because again, in the wild, nobody's ever given you anything. You're taking it. And actually the word raptor means to take with force. That's what it means. And she's a raptor. So she takes with force. And you can see that there where she tried to take her finger with force. Yes. So, yeah, she's done pretty good. Yeah, you did. Yeah, did you get a picture? Go ahead. Yeah. There's a nice picture there. That's a lovely shot. That's how. Come on. Oh, I'm in trouble now. Hey, there we go. Now we want it. Up. There we go. So you see that lovely sidewards. Here he comes again. Hey, there we go. That's more like it. So it's bullfighting with the torpedo. That's basically what this is. There we go. Yes. So the object here is that I let him get close enough to it that he thinks he almost has it, but not close enough that he can get it. So that he thinks, ooh, I almost had him that time. Yeah, man. Now he's not committed to it so far. That's better. He's really tried to go for it there. Nice and turn back. Whoa! That's better. So that's what I want. And now he's doing tighter circles because he really wants it. So then once I think, and you see I pull my legs out of the way because sometimes he'll try and shortcut me and hop. There we go. I think he's ready. He's getting tired now. So I'm going to let him catch him. Here we go.
Wow.
So you can see he's panting, I'm panting, and that's how you exercise your falconer and your falcon at the same time. So we won't go any closer to him.
Okay.
We'll give him about that 3 meters that he has now, and he'll feel secure enough there. So he's catching his breath. I'll know I can approach him when he rouses his feathers. He'll align his flight feathers again, he'll rouse them into position, and that tells me I can approach him then. But I've got food on there, I'm going to allow him to pluck that or eat that first, then I'll approach him with the food I have in my bag. But I would say if he was any higher in weight, he would just pitch on me and sit up there and not play ball. So normally I would give him the 2 quail legs, but I'm going to give him 1.5. And that will lower him enough that tomorrow he'll be back down at 1 pound 11. So that's where I optimally want him, 1 pound 11. Emphasize this year into yellow feet, yellow face, and black feathers, like the rest of his body. So that's what we're going to try and, that's what we're going to see this year. Now it looks like he's bent a tail feather or something. If he broke a tail feather, I'll take that broken piece, I'll get a needle, I'll stuff it into it, and then stick it back in. It's called imping. Now if he damaged a feather and it was unfixable, I have loads of feathers that I've saved from other falcons that molt, because they molt once a year, and he'll molt as well, but I won't be able to look at him if he has any damaged feathers, because I'm a bit OCD about the feathers. So I'll impin a new one using guitar string, super glue, and the old feather, and then later on this year, look, he's looking to me there, where's the rest of it? Where is it? Come on. All right. So he's like a little monkey. He's like, I finished with that piece. Give me the rest of it, Jason. So there he is. So we'll let him tuck into that. You'll see he's hiding it from me, because obviously I want to steal his quail, in his mind. So put that up there. So while he's, content eating, and if you have to take into account that he's like an Arabian stallion, and the hawk you flew was like a riding school pony, okay? 2 totally different things. You'll get away with the Harris hawk, but you will not get away with the falcon. And so I'm very cognizant of that. So as far as I'm concerned, he's done really well. He's munching through his food. And I can see each day his face is getting more yellow like an adult, and he will lose all those brown feathers that you see there and grow down his dark feathers. So that'll happen this year. There we go. So while he's eating, and you can hear him breaking the bones and everything, he's a bird recycling machine. That's his job. While he does that, I can do things that ordinarily he wouldn't like me to do. He would find uncomfortable. He'd be a bit nervous. So his jesses now are under the thumb. His leash is wrapped around my little finger. And he's got that radio transmitter on. If I try to take that now, he'll take offense to that. He'll give out to me, he'll swear at me, and I'll be losing brownie points. So for me, I'm going to avoid that. I'm going to wait till he's almost finished his food. And then as he takes the last bite, I'm going to slip the hood back on him. Then I can take it off, walk him back down, and then before I put him in the box, take the hood off again, and in he goes. So I only use the hood for before I fly him. Or if you're hunting, and I had my pointing dogs running out ahead of me, once they go on point, I take the hood off him. He sees they're pointing and he'll fly away. And he'll come back 10 minutes later at about cloud height, doing a circle at 1,000 feet, like that. And then I pip the dog in, roar to the falcon, he'll fold up when he sees the covey of birds flying out, and strike them. Anything up to 240 miles per hour. Strike it with his back talon, which is called a hallux. And then as he hits it, he kind of bounces off it like that, strikes it and comes back up with the momentum of the drop, looks over his shoulder, yeah, looks good, come in and grab it, and then fly it home. He never touches ground with it. And as he's flying, if it's still wriggling, he can deliver a coup de grace with a bite to the neck, because he's got a specially designed beak that has a notch behind the front mandible called the Tamil tooth, and it's designed to fit between the vertebrae of a bird's neck, so he can part that vertebrae and eat it. Wondering what he's watching. I'm training some other falconers from another falconry centre at the moment. Each Thursday I give them a training session and train them to fly falcons to the lure, because it is quite difficult. So I'm training them to do that, and last week we had a wild falcon come in and dogfight with their falcon, which is crazy, and we do get that sometimes. So sometimes if he's eating like this and then he suddenly tilts his head to the side, that means there's something above him, because he can't move his eyes, he has to move his head. And so then I always look up, because it could be anything, you get to see some stuff. So I can wind up my lure now while he's finishing that off. And so with that, I put a bit of pressure on the line, and then I can wind it up. So everything you're doing, you're trying to do it while he's busy eating, so he does not get offended by things he might find otherwise scary. Yeah. That's called mantling. And that's where the word mantle, or to cover, that's why your mantle piece is called a mantle piece. That's mantling, and that's where that comes from. So if you went out with your bird and your dog and you didn't find a point, it was pointless. If you do find a point, nothing else matters, everything else is beside the point. See my point?
Yeah.
So these where these words come from, and you think, well, where does all this language come from? Where does these words come from? Hoodwinked, when I put the hood on him, he's hoodwinked into thinking it's nighttime. A hobby is a pastime, but the pastime of the ladies in the Middle Ages was to fly a small falcon called a hobby, and so every pastime since got called a hobby. And they used to fly it at skylarks, which were tiny little birds you couldn't eat, and the men thought that was silly, so they called it larking about with a hobby, or having a lark. So that's where all these kind of phrases come from in the English language, and it's the same for all languages: Spanish, Portuguese, German, French, Middle Eastern, Arabic, all that, Chinese, Japanese, loads of it. So yeah, and that's why falconry is protected, because it spans all time, all nations, and it's fantastic like that, I've often been out on a hunting field and had people from as far as Kazakhstan, China, Japan, South Africa, California, all out in the same field together, watching the falcons fly, so it's a really good way to bring people together. Yeah.
And he's getting rid of the feathers.
Oh yeah, he's plucking them because he's going, that's enough feathers. Oh, he noticed they were on his wing. He was going, I don't like that, so I'll help him with that. But I have to do that very slowly, very steadily. And so he's munching through. You can hear him breaking the bones there, and he'll digest those bones. Yeah, everything. The only thing he'll cough up tomorrow morning in a pellet is the feathers, and they'll clean out his crop where all his food is going now. So once he's eaten that, I'm going to let him have that last bit. Once I think he has it down to a size he can actually swallow. There he goes. So that's down the hatch. I'll pop this on to you for a second, buddy. Come here. There we go. Now I can get this. And that had snake skin on it, but he's scraped it off. So while he's hooded now.
Wrapped around your little finger.
Yeah, wrapped around my little finger under my thumb, hoodwinked. All right, we'll bring him on down.